What's good, y'all? It's your man Inhuman back with another episode of Knights of the Aqua Table. Don't know what the fuck he's doing, but we're glad to be here once again in everything. Episode 2, that is. Woo! And today we are a man down, but nonetheless we are still joined today by
your boy Nitron.
That
is a tough name, like Nitro.
I just got that you were the knight, so you were the mascot. I just got that now.
We've been here for like 2 plus hours. You just get it.
I thought he just wanted to dress up, you know.
That would be you too, just to randomly fuck up. But all right, so as always, you know, we are grateful for y'all who are joining us today. You know, on some prayer type shit. And since we do not have our member here that handles the sports section, we will not be having a sports section. So that gives us a little bit of time to kind of stretch out within the other 3 topics. And as always, we start with movies, games, usually sports, and then our news wrap-up section, but sports is no longer here, so we'll be going straight to news wrap-up. We're going to give a quick rundown on everything that we're going to be going through, so go around the head.
News. Movie news, I'm going to talk about, what's his name, Daniel Kaluuya's mysterious nomination at the Oscars. Talking about Avatar's re-release, and some casting news and some reviews.
Alrighty, for gaming, we want to go ahead and get into Xbox and everything that was announced within the past week. PlayStation actually removing some features and also removing services, and also the future of gaming. Where is it headed, and where will we actually calling home for gaming?
And it's the last section, news wrap. We're going to be talking about Kirk Franklin contentious conversation with his son. Texas being fully reopened, and the drought that's been terrorizing our country for several years now.
Alrighty, and with that, let's get into it.
Bam! See, what happened was, alright, first, so, you know, the Oscars is back around town, and they dropped the nominations this morning. But it's this one thing that's really interesting to me and everybody else. It's so funny. So, Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya were in the new film recently, Judas and the Black Messiah. That was nominated for numerous things, but one of them was Best Supporting Actor. Best Supporting Actor is being nominated for Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield at the same time. So now fans are trying to figure out who is the lead of the movie.
That's
actually
Alright.
No. I don't think actually.
Who would be the lead of the movie?
That's
who do y'all
actually a
think
good
would be the
point.
lead
That
of
is
the
a good
movie?
point.
Because it's not really from his perspective.
No.
Only the beginning of the movie is actually from Daniel Kaluuya's character's
definitely
perspective.
more-
I would say Daniel
More-
Kaluuya is a supporting.
Yeah, now that I think about it,
It's the
yeah,
lead,
it's more
but,
about
you know,
the snitch than.
And then the Oscars, the Academy, they tried to like they tried to explain themselves, but they didn't explain themselves.
What did they say?
All they said was it goes by a voting thing, and basically this is what it is. Basically that's what they said. Like, this is what it is. This is how we do it. And yeah. So no explanation.
Didn't the trailers kind of actually just kind of put it out there that
It was about the Keith character.
yeah, like the trailers kind of just gave it that feel. So, and again, you know, trailers.
But it's like we know, but it's like they're trying to like. It's like we're looking at them like, the fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I completely understand that. Yeah.
Avatar was being petty and decided to have a re-release in theaters over at China just so they could pass Endgame, and they did, very slightly, and they were petty. I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah. Kingsley Ben Adir, hopefully I'm saying that wrong.
Ooh.
Please sound off in the comments.
Right.
He played Malcolm X in One Night in Miami. He just got casted as a co-lead with Samuel L. Jackson in the Secret Invasion Disney Plus series from Marvel that's dropping next year.
Nice.
So that's pretty dope news. Mark Webb, you know him as director of 500 Days of Summer and the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. He just got tapped to helm R.L. Stein's Just Beyond for Disney Plus. Production is currently underway in Atlanta. The main plot of the story is basically a family camping trip. Turns into a little nightmare. I mean, R.L. Stein, you can only imagine. I mention that because I'm a big Mark Webb fan. I love his director's style. And yeah, I'm excited to see how he tackles the R.L. Stein project. Make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, I didn't. I'm going to wrap it up here, actually. Oh, real quick, I want to say this. Sonic 2 is back in production. Cowboy Bebop, the live-action Netflix series, they just wrapped filming, so expect to hear from that, whoever's fans out there. Trying to think who else dropped production.
The Batman also.
The Batman just stopped production. Olivia Wilde's production, Don't Worry, Darling. I don't know if any Olivia Wilde fans out there. I don't know if anybody heard of it. That's the movie that Shia LaBeouf had just got fired from because of his allegations. So they just wrapped filming. So a bit of some movie rap news. Last but not least, I'm gonna get into these reviews. Which you want me to review first?
That's Olivia Wilde. She's 13, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's Jason Sudeikis' ex-wife. She directed Booksmart. She was in Tron Legacy. She's a great actress, but she's now turned director. Also, shout out to Regina King. She got nominated.
Always shout out to Regina.
She got multiple Oscar nominations. So, shout out to Regina King. Holla back. Raya and the Last Dragon. So, I caught Raya and the Last Dragon because, I'm a good big brother. And it's my sister's birthday coming out. Shouts to all them Aries out there. Fire signs, we gang. Woo! So I bought Raya, and I was like, last night I was chilling. I was like, damn, I was gonna watch this joint. I paid $30 for it, Disney. So I watched that joint, and it was cool. It had definitely a good story, a good theme. Disney always has good like teaching kids lesson type movies. I like that about Disney. They kept that going. The action was tough. You can tell as a person that watched Disney movies growing up, I was like, and just like action movies that they like really peel back.
Yeah, you can tell that there was holding back a lot because I feel right. So when I first even heard the movie, I was in my head I'm thinking something like how kind of like was in Mulan, how the fighting was really.
I was getting Mulan vibes. I was getting a lot of Mulan vibes. It was taking me back.
I enjoyed it so much because of that.
Yeah.
But then when it came to the fighting, I was like, oh, you guys truly are pulling back.
You can tell they holding back.
Yeah,
you can tell.
It you did feel it in the movie pretty much.
Yeah.
You felt it through the whole movie that it was like, all right, cool, it's more or less of an adventure movie, less of an action movie.
Yeah.
It had just actiony parts. There's probably
I like the mythology they came up with.
It was great.
Their own genre. I like the
dragons and shit
I like the dragon designs. The dragon, all the dragons, because it say Raya and the Last Dragon, but you see the movie.
No, and then it was cool too, and I also enjoyed how how they talked about how dragons absorb another dragon's powers. That's
it was dope.
The whole thing surrounding it all and everything was actually really cool.
So Nitron gives it. I give it a good 8.2.
8.2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bump it up by 0.3. I'm gonna give it 8.5 and everything. I would actually.
What gives it the 8.5 for you?
In a good way, pretty much it kind of reached most expectations and everything. It hit the whole when parts when it gets you in the heart and you're like, oh, I feel that shit.
Oh yeah, there was parts like that.
Yeah, but then just the adventure aspect of it truly was fun. I like the whole wasteland feel to it. Her vehicle was her pet when she was younger, and that shit. They added so many cool shit. But then I feel like the reason why it's not a 9 or a 10, obviously, because a 10 for me that's on some Toy Story level. It's hard to really achieve that. But the reason why it's not even a 9 or some shit is because of the fact that they could have done more.
Yeah, they did. And I was for all the listeners and watchers, I was telling the guys off camera that originally Raya and the Last Dragon was the way it was written and some of the animation sequences that they had planned was kind of giving it like that R-rated like feel. That's a dope pick, by the way. So yeah, that's a good little tidbit.
Yeah.
Then last but not least, so I also watched this movie called The Banker. You should watch The Banker. It's Samuel Jackson and Anthony Mackie. It's it's about African American banking entrepreneurs and
that came out in 2019.
yeah, it's a good joint. It's on Apple TV Plus. I watched it on Fire Stick, but if you don't have Fire Stick, Apple TV Plus, definitely check that out. That was a good joint. But I really want to give an immense amount of praise to Cherry. It just dropped this weekend on March 12th. Russo brothers collaborated with Tom Holland, who they work with on Endgame and not Sparta, Civil War. They basically hired him for Civil War. That was his first joint. So that movie is really heavy and really deep, and you really see how. So Cherry is about. Let me give everybody some background that doesn't know. Cherry is about a guy, just ordinary guy, that his heart gets broken or whatever, and he decides to enlist in the army. Enlist in the army, goes to fight over Afghanistan because it's based on a true story. So he goes to fight over in Afghanistan. Then sees some pretty bad stuff. Comes back home, gets addicted to drugs and start robbing banks. The movie visually is freaking amazing. Like he breaks the fourth wall, but it's not like annoying and it's not like Deadpool. It's like he brings you in part of the story. Like you're standing with him while he's doing whatever it is. Like whether it be the drug scenes or whether it be the bank robbery scenes, whatever. Like you really like feel like this bull really saw and went through some stuff. So they did a really good job. I'm gonna have to give that joint a 9. That joint's really good. I say go rush to see Cherry. Huh?
Would you get The Banker?
Oh, The Banker? I get that. Dang. Wow, I probably get a Banker like 8.6. 8.6. What did it lack? The Banker lacked in, I feel like, a little bit more emotion. Could have had a little bit more emotion and intensity, but overall it was pretty good. It's pretty dandy. I bangs with it. My mom actually put me on that joint. I saw the trailer and didn't worry about it, but then she told me to sit down and watch it. And I watched that joint. That joint was dope. I definitely, know your Black history. Definitely go watch that movie. So, yeah. And that's all for today in the movie news. Thanks for coming. Paul?
Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the gaming news. And the one that I guess you could say has the most kind of talk about would be like the Xbox, and that's only because lately they just really been on a roll with just like dropping shit and just here's some news, here's all this shit just going on. I honestly felt like that's just one after another, like a domino effect or some shit. So last week we did actually talk about the Bethesda acquisition that's been approved by the US and the EU. And I want to say maybe like 2 days after we recorded, they went ahead and actually confirmed that yes, the purchase actually, they sent that money over and everything. Shit's actually good. I guess just I'm not sure if there's still some paperwork, but pretty much it's already far along enough in the process where it's like almost like too late to really like pull back now. So pretty much it is confirmed. Bethesda and Xbox, are joining forces, and they are Bethesda's officially acquired. With that came some games that were actually thrown in. I want to say they had a whole little event where they spoke on how things are going to be going moving forward with exclusivities, because that's a big thing. Because Bethesda do have 2 games currently that are going to be releasing exclusively on PlayStation. That's Ghostwire Tokyo, and I fucking forget the second one stuff. But I believe the second was made by the people who made Dishonored, if I'm not mistaken, same studio, which I believe is Arcane Studios. Well, those games are supposed to be exclusive to PlayStation, but now we're not even sure if it's going to be timed exclusive, full exclusive, because I do not believe that the IP itself is owned by Sony. I do believe it's owned by Bethesda. So yeah, that would be interesting to see how we move along forward, because then when does it release on PC and Xbox as well? Is it going to go to PC first because it's kind of not tied to a console? We don't know. But what we do know is those games that have the legacy games that they're calling it that have been previously released on other consoles, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, games such as actually no, Elder Scrolls isn't on Switch, but Elder Scrolls, Fallout 76, and those multiplayer games, they are going to be continue to be released and supported and expanded on within other consoles and systems as well on PC. So, other than that, it pretty much Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, said, "Listen, if you do not support Game Pass on your platform, you're not getting the games." So now that actually starts bringing into a question of like, well, the only things that do support Game Pass are Android devices, phones, tablets, and stuff, PC, Xbox, and that's it. There's nothing else that supports Game Pass. So pretty much, if you do not own an Android device, which there is supposed to be another Xbox event this month, happen on the 26th, which is the rumors they're going to announce their launch for iOS. So if you do not own a phone, tablet, PC, or Xbox, you're simply not going to be able to play Bethesda games anymore, or at least the games that will be released here on out. Now, I do believe that does come with a slight caveat where I do think multiplayer games that are released will continue to, because ZeniMax Online, I believe, is one of the studios that they have some bullshit like that, but it's a studio that they're making another MMO. So I do believe a game like that will most likely be released along with PlayStation as well, because it makes sense to have, hey, listen, multitude of the player base there. Saying that, Game Pass, which all these games will be coming to. There's a cool thing that Xbox does with the community, where there's a person, I believe her name is Melissa McGamepass, which yes, where she basically sends out kind of like a memo, an internal memo and everything as an email to everybody, and she's like lists a bunch of different shit, and just says like, hey, here's what's going on, happy that we've been able to do this, do that, and stuff. But she released something within the email. Basically, these emails are all made up, they're all fake, and it's really just to tease, basically, Game Pass. See if I can pull this up right now. Let's look at Game Pass. Images, and redacted, no, that's the redacted one, but basically, so much news today. Hope you don't mind if I add some more, although it's completely unrelated to the others that were announced. Now, she's speaking of unrelated to the Bethesda acquisition that released some games, because 20 games from Bethesda were officially released on Game Pass, as well as certain games, I believe, also got an FPS boost, so, they are running at a higher frame percent. So it says, yes, that. The new game has been confirmed and is officially coming to the service. As always, keep this confidential. Before I go, I do have something that I wanted to ask. Has anyone else noticed a mysterious signal appearing in the distance lately? Or am I the anomaly in this situation? Weird question, I know. And it says, thanks, Melissa. Now, everyone started questioning, well, what are they talking about? She's mentioning, is she the anomaly, a mysterious signal off in the distance, da-da-da. So people automatically started thinking Mass Effect, and which would actually be a good guess, too, and everything. But, as people started reading into it, they went into the description of the new game that's coming out called Outriders, which will be released on April 1st, and they went through the description of the game, and it mentions, a mysterious signal off in the distance, and it talks about, being an anomaly and all this other shit and stuff. And so people started saying, wait a minute, is Outriders, which is a brand new IP, releasing on Xbox Game Pass upon its release? And it was a rumor, many people doubted it, some people supported it, and then, of course, before we started recording today, they announced it. Outriders will be officially releasing on Game Pass day and date, April 1st, upon the actual release of the game. So if you have Game Pass, you can either shell out the $60 for the game and stuff, or if you have Game Pass, you can just purchase it, or just play it on Game Pass and download it day and date. I do believe, I'm not sure if you're going to get the discount on it, but if you do have Game Pass, any game that is on Game Pass, you normally get at least like a 10 to whatever % discount on the game. So you can actually get it cheaper. Yes, Game Pass discount. And also get, discounts on DLCs. So saying that, we'll move on from Outriders. we're gonna go ahead and go into PlayStation because PlayStation is gonna be removing the Communities app, which I don't actually know much about that. Leak here says he actually did not use that shit.
Never used that shit.
So I honestly can't give too much into it, but it is something that is going to be leaving.
The movie rentals feature was actually cool though. It was like I think it was connected to Redbox, so everything that was on Redbox you could just buy for like
So
$1.
was it? Oh, okay. I was about to ask
Yeah,
you.
so I used that a couple times, but that's
And
unfortunately,
unfortunately, the rentals and movie purchases and everything, all that will also be leaving. It's just a service that pretty much, I guess they're kind of saying like, hey, listen, we do make money off of this, but it's not substantial enough to keep the service around. So they will actually be getting rid of that as well, which is kind of sad. Which I do also want to kind of just touch on how things are going with Sony. Like they are doing phenomenally. For a new generation, which not many consoles out there in the wild and stuff, they are still selling great. So the only thing that I'm kind of looking at it is that now with the release of games coming out, where exactly does Sony continue to push? Right now they have was it Horizon Forbidden West, which is the sequel to Horizon Forbidden Dawn, or Horizon Zero Dawn. It's going to be set to release this year. God of War Ragnarok is still set to release this year.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's doing probably gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I actually can't wait because they brought in like Norse mythology within the latest God of War that was released as well back in 2018.
I was playing that shit.
That's crazy.
It's really nice and stuff. So my thing is, there was also a rumor that, there was a guy that had tweeted out. I believe he works within the studio. He was like, God of War Ragnarok is gonna finish when it's done and everything. Like it's gonna be finished when it's finished.
Yeah.
So people kind of see that as it's probably not gonna be released this year. I'll be honest, I never had a hope that it was actually going to be released this year, simply because Horizon Forbidden West has been in production longer than that. So I believe that this is going to be their head game releasing this year. God of War Ragnarok is probably going to be released first quarter next year, most likely end of first quarter next year. So you could be looking around March. Now that is not confirmed. I cannot confirm that at all. But that is kind of where I see it because I do not believe that it is smart enough to. Because Horizon Forbidden West is supposed to also be released on PlayStation 4, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that God of War Ragnarok can basically force. I mean, PlayStations are selling out anyway, but I do believe God of War Ragnarok would be the one title to be like, hey, listen, you can only play this on PlayStation 5. That's going to definitely force everyone to just pick up a PlayStation no matter what. It's that good of a selling title. Saying that though, I don't know anything else that is within the works for PlayStation other than Spider-Man 2. So I don't see really where Sony goes from here on out. Do they continue to just sign timed exclusives? Because most of the titles that they have are actually timed exclusives. Or do they just have something in the works that we just don't know of? The Last of Us 2 multiplayer is apparently set to launch within this year. So I'm going to say yes.
You know how they gonna do that?
I hope it's like the Last of Us 1 multiplayer.
I never played that multiplayer. How was that?
It's pretty good. It's like the only time that I played it was a team deathmatch. And that was kind of cool.
It was a team deathmatch, Last of Us. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it was like you could what you call it, craft items like in the middle of the
game.
Yeah. Then to me, like, I was like, yo, like this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like what was it? Uncharted's multiplayer was like a watered down version of it. So like I do hope that this multiplayer is good, and I think it's gonna be amazing. So I wish Naughty Dog the fucking best with this. Saying that, I want to get into like basically the future of gaming and where does it actually go. As a sport itself, and also distribution of the gaming and the sports side of it. So we have ESPN, and ESPN has brought on gamers and everything to actually talk to them and interview them and stuff like that. But does gaming actually need its own network? So, everyone jokes about MLG, Major League Gaming, and it kind of makes me think like, well, should we actually have a specific network where this is what's covered? Like everything here is what's covered, but then it also kind of gets into a difficult situation because then I guess you could say your anchors or reporters and everything, or your hosts, they have to be able to be knowledgeable in many different games, many different strategies, weapons, fucking anything. Because you're going to be talking something like from, okay, obviously you're going to have your Call of Duties, But you have the Call of Duty League already, which is signed to an exclusive deal with YouTube, where Activision itself is signed to YouTube. So they're only streaming their events there. But if you do have your own event, where do you put it? So do you just stick with Twitch? Do you create your own like app or whatever and stuff? Or do you just have a network that then basically says, hey, listen, instead of doing any full contracts, we're just going to do some handshake deals? So what would you guys actually like to see the future of that actually go to be? I guess that'll be the first open topic we'll have here.
Yes. I think if we do the...
I got 2 answers. Alright, go ahead. No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You sure? You're about to start there.
Alright, go ahead.
I think that yes, it should have its own network. I think that'd be really dope, especially now. It's like so. I mean, it's always been, but it's like I feel like it's way bigger than it was than when we were growing up. What was the other thing you said? Which other thing? I guess distribution.
Yes.
What did you say about distribution again?
Like how should it be handled? Should they either just like create their own map, create their own website, or should they just have one
The
single
network?
thing? Yeah, like the
Oh.
kind of like an ESPN thing and everything.
Yes. Then yes.
Okay.
I think that would be really dope. I would like to see. I mean, I probably wouldn't watch it every day because I'm not like a gaming person.
Well,
But-
I feel as though if they do, like, they could do kind of like how Cartoon Network did the blocks. This block is, in the morning is your kid cartoons. Throughout the day, it's more of your silly kid cartoons and everything.
Why
And
didn't they do that on Spike TV? Remember G4?
Well, G4's coming back.
Yeah.
And
Attack the Block is coming.
Attack of the Show.
Attack of the
and,
Show, sorry.
X Play as well. Oh, they're all coming back.
Yeah.
And I think the gaming.
Philly, we about to get one.
Yeah.
We about to get a center.
We
South
There,
Philly.
that one.
It's open?
The gaming stadium? Yeah.
Oh, it's open? Oh, where?
Right, and I feel as though like we I think we do need like a single how to say location of where we can actually get it and everything. So I do like how Activision is with YouTube. It's cool because I get a notification every time they're about to go live. But then I get a notification from Twitch, hey listen, Rainbow Six is about to go live and everything. So I'm like, fam, like it's kinda hard. So I think if we have like one single place where we could go to where we know, alright, listen man, all Call of Duty matches and everything are going to be happening Thursdays and Saturdays. But then you have your Rainbow Six matches and everything that they'll be happening Wednesdays and Fridays and everything. And then you have your Overwatch matches which are going to be happening Sundays and Mondays. And you do shit like that, but you also have block periods. So it's like, okay, listen, here are our midday competitions and everything that we might do for like I don't know, Smite or whatever. Then you have your League of Legends matches aren't these days, but it's only for this time. I think something like that would actually be better because then you can even host special events where it's like, hey, listen, we're gonna have our competitions and everything for like Super Smash Bros or whatever. We'll hold it on this day and everything and stuff, and it's all day. You can catch it at this special time program and everything. But at the same time, it's like you don't even need to have that because if it's gonna be something like an ESPN thing, then it'll be like, hey, listen, this happened, but we're only covering the news. But then you have, I guess, like a second channel or a second page or whatever, where we'll be like, hey, if you actually want to watch these things live, here it is. So, like, to me, it's like distribution of actually, like, how we consume it. Like, how, like, because it's getting a little tired how I gotta have YouTube open to watch certain things or whatever, but then switch over to Twitch. But then on Twitch, I'm watching like 2 or 3 different things or whatever.
First world problems.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm saying like if we had like a centralized thing like an ESPN where it's like, listen, I don't mind missing all that shit because within like 2-3 hours and everything, if I put on, like this gaming thing with everything, yeah.
So my only problem with that is I don't think a TV channel would work like an ESPN TV channel. It would have to be like a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel or like a streaming service of its own because nobody watch like network television. Nobody watch cable TV no more. So it has to be like a YouTube or maybe even if you create your own app where you could get like constant news. I don't know the gaming app for like better word.
Because what would be like who's like? Because something would have to be the universal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Create that universal place where you could just come.
I think
like how ESPN is for all sports.
And I think also, but I do think it will need to be managed like a TV station though. In the sense of like, hey, listen, at this time we're gonna go live, and then at this time is when we cut it off.
I think they could do lives 24/7.
You can't
If
nowadays.
it's
You can't.
managed correctly.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the only issue is because then it's going to be like it's going to be quite literally just a TV station and everything, just a constant live. Because you know you can also there's what's it called? There's a Twitch channel that basically they live stream them playing Dungeons and Dragons. And they have specific days at specific block hours that this is where they do it. And sometimes the channel goes live, and if you go to it, they're actually rebroadcasting an old thing.
Yeah.
So I think something like that can even happen to be like, hey, listen, we'll do the live thing. This is what happened, blah blah blah. But hey, listen, if you want to watch it and everything, here's the rebroadcasting right after we do it, and they rebroadcast like the fucking 3 hour long fucking Call of Duty match or some shit.
Yeah. I think it'll take a long time. Even if that happens, I think it'll take a long time before it's like announcers like recapping the video game tournaments for the last week or whatever like that.
I think that's the good and bad thing about it all. Because the good thing is one will actually get that.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, like, there'll be positions for someone like us or whatever, so just randomly, hey, can I apply for that position, blah, 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 and get that shit going and stuff. But, you know, like, the other bad thing is that there's already announcers.
Yeah.
Like, for
one guy on YouTube, I'm trying to remember, he had basically a little show, and, like, he sits behind the desk and everything. Like, a lot of times he'll discuss, like, and he went over the girl that played CDO, or COD Mobile, and got killed. That happened, like, maybe 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that was pretty sad. That's kind of one of the things, you know.
Sure, but even at that, like, you're talking about fucking mobile gaming and everything, that's a huge thing in and of itself. I never knew how big mobile gaming was until I started playing Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah.
Like,
There's, like, pros in there and everything. Like,
yeah, there's legit fucking teams. There's the one dude that I was watching on YouTube, he plays on an iPad and he uses fucking 6 fingers. And I'm like, motherfucker, you only got 10. Like, how you sitting there and each one's doing something different? Like these are real fucking pros, bro. Like, it's yeah. Wait,
thank you. So I was trying to do the math, and it wasn't working.
That's how I would do it.
Nah,
Is it 5-1 with the thumbs? It's 3 and 3, right?
Yeah. And sometimes he switches off and everything, depending on what type of game it is. Like, he has, like, he goes to the setting, he moves the buttons a specific way, so that way, and he has a big ass iPad, and he's just, I'm like,
that's
God,
the way.
man.
Look at that on the phone, I feel like it was, you know.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. But yeah, no, like, you know, something like that, the distribution is actually going to be interesting to see how it does, because I do feel as though we do need something like that. But even with the distribution of the future of gaming and stuff, everything's kind of pushing towards streaming. So the streaming of gaming is going to be interesting because also internet caps. Not everyone has good enough internet to begin with and everything, and if you're streaming the game, you're kind of burning through all that. Your service provider going like hit you up like, yo, you gotta have to calm that shit down. So,
I didn't think about that.
bro, and I think that's an issue that a lot of people are not thinking about. But you know, pretty much these companies like like Amazon, Google, and Xbox are pretty much all like, yo, listen, don't worry, your internet provider's gonna catch up. And it's like, you can't say that though, because you don't know, and it's gonna increasingly become more expensive if they try to make like an unlimited, uncapped bullshit ass plan and everything. Yeah, it's gonna be insane. So you know, I look at shit like that, and then but I also think about like distribution of devices. Google Stadia, they shut down their first party studio, but Google Stadia is still a thing. Amazon has Amazon Luna. Luna is their streaming service for their gaming, which by the way I do kind of actually want to test out. I heard it was actually very well. But you know, Xbox also has Game Pass and xCloud is what they're calling. You can play Game Pass on xCloud, and I've actually played it on my phone and everything. I played Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and it was actually running very well. But then again, I do have a current current gen phone or whatever. I have a Galaxy S21 Ultra, so maybe that's probably why it's good for me. Those who don't have a strong enough phone, maybe it's going to be worse on them. So with that, it kind of brings me into, there was a rumor or whatever that there was supposed to be almost like Amazon Fire Stick, but for Xbox, and I'm starting to think that actually might come to fruition more now. You plug it in HDMI, plug it into your fucking TV and everything, and boom, now you're playing Xbox games, but you're playing on like a little ass Fire Stick type thing, and you're paying, you know, your $15 a month or whatever the subscription service would be for that. Streaming gaming and stuff is going to be interesting, but what are your guys' actually thoughts on, I guess, the financial side of it all? Like, it's going to cost you to even for the subscription, but also for internet as well. Once like you said, like, you didn't even think about the whole, like, internet cap and shit.
I did. I think that'll definitely put a hold on it, because, like you said, the money, the speed, and like if you think about it, if you have a gaming hub like an ESPN a gaming app, there's going to be a literal gaming hub, and that hub will need super speeds because it's probably going to be having constant gaming tournaments or whatnot. And then the app will also need super speeds just to keep up with the constant streaming. So because of that, I don't even think it can come to fruition. And the reason I say that is because it would take either a major company like Microsoft or Sony or a bunch of people pulling together for something like that to happen. And if a major company does it, like Microsoft or Microsoft or Sony, I don't think they'll include the other companies' games and tournaments into there, so it wouldn't be one main hub anymore.
Well, a thing is that like Xbox is already doing it with xCloud.
Yeah,
so
they're not going to add Sony. That's what I'm saying. It won't be one major.
Well, the thing is that a lot of these companies are signing up to use Microsoft's Azure technology. So Phil Spencer had what was it? Phil Spencer, Satya Nadella, someone from Microsoft had said that pretty much their competitors or their direct competitors are Amazon and Google. And everybody was like, no, motherfucker, your competitors are Sony and Nintendo. And they said, no, those are pretty much our console competitors. But they're saying competitors within gaming, it's Amazon and Google, because the future of gaming is pushing towards cloud gaming. And the way that Amazon has their own like service that they have and everything that they use for their cloud gaming, as does Google. And Microsoft, theirs is their Azure technology. And that's pretty much what most people are signing up to. Sony already signed up to use Azure. And I'm guessing maybe because they just don't have
capabilities.
Yeah, like they don't have the foundation to even, I guess, start it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then again, you gotta also understand is that like Microsoft is a software-based company. This is what they do and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. But I do believe that in order for anything to happen, one, I think we do need a centralized place where this is where we go for everything gaming and stuff. Because right now it's all scattered and you gotta find information. Why?
Because the way I see it, if it's a centralized place, well, after what you just said, especially Amazon or Google or Microsoft is going to have to eat almost everybody else up.
No. I'm not talking about centralized as in streaming. I'm talking about centralized as in news.
Okay.
Like how ESPN is a centralized place for sports.
Yeah. Well, even still, I'm scared of that just because whatever they deem is most important will be on the front page every week.
That's true.
So and there's so many obscure games out there.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be Rainbow Six, it's going to be Call of Duty, it's going to be Fortnite, and whatever else is popping at the time when it happened.
That's true.
But everything else that's like the little niches or the stuff that random ass people play is going to get thrown by the wayside.
Do you think that maybe it would work though to actually have the blocks?
I think the blocks definitely would be.
Like this block here is specifically only for like the top fucking 10 trending games on Twitch. Right?
That could work.
Yeah, but you have your upcoming games.
Just because of money.
Sure.
Just to, it's going to cost a lot to make it, so they're going to need to make that money back.
Well, what if they can actually have a proof of concept of it? Because I'm a big fan of proof of concept. So basically, they try it out like, okay, here's all your most popular games, and then this block period are for your games to look out for. This is climbing the charts and everything. If this section of the games that are like nobody's really playing but are slowly climbing the charts, if this starts to get more popularized and everything, then maybe they could be like, okay, maybe we can make it a full segment and everything, or a full, like, hey, we'll give this 30 minutes and everything of here's all the games and everything that pretty much people are starting to talk about.
I got you.
Like, the games that are bubbling up. Well, again, this all can be easily done if you just create, some type of proof. So go ahead and try it. That's how this fucking show started.
Well, that's my strategy. I think I think it's a solid idea, and gaming isn't going anywhere. I like to tell people all the time, we're probably a couple, maybe realistically 5-10 years from full dive stuff, being sort of our line type of gaming being a real thing.
I don't think I'll ever do that. When it happens, I don't think I'll play it.
But regardless, Oculus and that type of stuff, it might not be the most mainstream thing, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Funny about that, talking about VR, AR stuff. Microsoft also announced their own It's like Pokemon Go. You know. Alright, saying that we're actually gonna be into it now. That was actually a little longer than expected and shit. But we're gonna go ahead and shoot it over.
Long-winded ass.
God damn, we're gonna throw it over to the fucking news wrap up section and everything. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
You made it to the best part. I'm glad you made it to the best part of the show.
We love you, Leak.
We love you too.
More Leak.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, it is Women's History Month, and I promised I would start by telling you about famous women in history, which I am. Talking about Athea Gibson. If you don't know, she is the first black female. I'm not sure if she was the first black tennis player in general, but the first black female player to play at the Wimbledon. And she has literally opened the doors for many black people. This is around the same time in 1951 when Jackie Robinson broke the doors, the barriers through baseball's stratosphere and whatnot. She set the way for people like Serena and Venus and now Naomi Osaka. Thank you. I want to say
Is she from Philly?
Not that I know of. I don't think she is from Philly, but she did have a camp.
I think Gibson Tennis Training Center on Girard Avenue.
That used to be there. It's not there
Yeah, it's
anymore.
not there anymore.
It's going to be apartment buildings now, but
Gentrification.
Thanks, New York. God damn. Fucking New York is on the move.
But you know, that's it. Just wanted to let you know about Thea Gibson. Go look her up. She's amazing. So this first topic of
She's still alive?
she's
No.
not still alive. No, she's not.
Rest in peace, the real one.
Rest in peace to the real one. So this first topic of world news, we're gonna talk about the great Kurt Franklin. Have you heard this conversation?
He makes me want to stop.
Wow.
Put your hands together.
That's crazy.
So we're gonna listen to this conversation that many people have been.
I have not heard this.
It's a conversation. This is with his son, by the way.
I did it. He just hung up the phone. I'll break your neck. Is that a threat?
All right, so that was a phone conversation with his 32-year-old son.
How old is Kurt Franklin?
He got to be at least 50.
50?
Maybe
Dang,
60.
Kurt.
Ain't no black on crack.
Kurt made me clap my hands.
Okay. But that was. Tell me what you think about that conversation between him, a father, and his son.
Hilarious.
Sound like a fucking father and son
Yeah.
conversation.
Exactly.
If my father done had conversations like that and everything. Boy, I beat your ass. I'm like, go ahead. Go ahead. I will shoot
Wait,
with
then
it.
you was about to rumble your dad one time?
This nigga pulled a knife on me, but
Yeah.
that's a different story.
Bro,
That's a story for another
Bro,
time.
I just feel like that's just conversations with fathers and sons, though. Because, like, it gets to a point that it's like, all right, cool. You know, as a son and everything, you're already at the point, like, you yourself are a man and everything. But your father always going, like, no, your parents always going to see you as a child no matter what.
Always.
But it's going to be like, all right, cool. I ain't saying I'm still your child, but there is a respect, like, thing now. Like, I'm an adult now that you talk to me as such and shit. And, like, that's kind of where me and my pop always, like, had bump heads and shit. Is that, like, especially, like, him and my mom always made sure that, like, me and my sister were, like, we matured at a very young age and shit. So, once, you know, we hit a certain age, it's more like, no, you talk to me as you talk to your peers and everything, and that's just how it is. And that's how me and my pop always, like, butted heads and shit. But, no, that sounded like just, like, a conversation. Between Andy, honestly, his son probably just like being fucking emotional. He said, that sound like a threat, right? That motherfucker, yes, it's a fucking
a
threat.
threat.
Like, shoot me to throw your hands up.
I don't know. The thing that gets me is that his son recorded the conversation and put it online. Now Kurt Franklin got to not retire, got to apologize, and this is whole big.
You don't gotta apologize to nobody.
He did apologize though publicly.
He shouldn't, man.
He shouldn't have to apologize to me.
That's your kid.
Apparently they're going to counsel him because of this, or maybe this isn't the reason. Maybe this is just another
That shit
symptom.
just
but
so look good, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. It's just
Definitely talk.
I don't know. It's just
the name will swim back. You're laughing.
It's a normal conversation
Well, I can say,
between
but-
father and son after a certain age. Like,
Yeah,
especially
celebrities
these
don't have to apologize.
two men, like you're gonna bump heads. You get that testosterone. He's 32. He's a grown ass man. He's not even like a child.
Yeah.
So if you can't handle that from your dad, I don't know. It got me feeling like.
That's some child shit.
Yeah, that's some
like,
child
come on,
shit.
bro,
Like,
listen.
come on, bro.
Like I said, that's normal shit that happens. Like, if y'all know half the shit that happen, like, with me and my brothers and my pop and everything, like, trust me, like, that's just normal shit.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna say recording the conversation was a bitch move, and I will
Yeah.
also say
That's
that
extra.
apologizing for that shit was also a bitch move.
Yeah.
So Apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Ooh.
So they are, they're related.
They're related.
That was definitely a bitch.
Sorry.
I wanna-
People will be offended by that. Yeah,
All
but
I wanna
you
know
can
is
church
that-
people, and I'm not worried about
Like,
offending you anyway.
if he hung up, though, what happened after he hung up? Because he didn't pull up after he hung up, that's another bitch move. Because I know if my dad hangs up, that motherfucker in his truck driving to my house. Like, no. Listen, if you gonna hang up, you gonna pull the fuck up. Like, just don't hang up on me, then.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
no, that just, I'm throwing that shot. I'm fucking with
That
it.
shit was funny though.
It was. Like, motherfucker,
That
I'll be. I'll break
was
your
a lot of
neck.
Freaking fucking neck.
Yeah, throwback for me. I was like, oh wow.
But at that, we don't even know why this shit even like came to that point.
Yeah.
Because the son probably could have just frustrated the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that son probably was. I mean, Kirk has been like fucking big since we was little too.
Yeah.
So it was like his son was born in fucking money.
Stop you out.
Yeah,
Sorry,
fucking
I'm
fucking.
sitting now.
You wanna dance?
I don't know. It's just another example of how soft we are.
Oh yeah.
You can't even argue
Society's
with
done.
your own family, and y'all not be cool 10 minutes later, a day later, whatever.
Society's
Like, I
done.
don't know.
But it's like you don't have to apologize to nobody.
Yeah.
That's not even my business.
Stand on your own too.
It's not even my
That's why you
business,
got
what?
legs to stand on.
What you apologizing for?
Uh,
Like, mind your fucking business, like, bro. Like, that's your son. It ain't no, and the fact that he put it out there, fuck. Nah, bro.
yeah.
That shit weird.
Hey, listen, that's what I said, that's two L's. And it's
Yeah.
father, son, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have said, oh, damn, like, you know, your son did wrong by you and everything like that, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't apologize for it. So you just as bad as him. You should not apologize for
Listen, he
talking.
should have put his goddamn foot down, like, that's my son, this ain't none of your business.
Don't let that church community fucking bully you.
Yeah, bro.
But he gotta keep his money in his sponsorship.
You're not gonna lose money that he already got. If he, but see, and that's the thing too, which is funny. That whole church shit is kind of wishy-washy. Because if he's not able to have a conversation and with his son and everything, even if he was to call the conversation a quote unquote sin or anything like that, that's between him, his son, and his God. That has nothing to do with the congregation or anybody else. And if y'all gonna be talking that Christian Jesus forgives, all that grace type stuff, come as you are, what's he need to be doing public apology towards for?
Hey, listen, man.
Where's the grace? But they be forgetting about that. You know.
Yeah.
Alright, second, let's keep it moving.
You move
So
on.
this weekend, Texas reopened 100%, fully normal, no mask mandate.
Yeah,
no
also-
Can I ask something?
Texas.
Huh?
Can I ask something?
You can ask whatever.
So, no, Ed. Los Angeles actually.
Two?
Yeah.
Los
And just the city of Los Angeles, or the
Just
whole
the
state?
city of Los
Oh,
Angeles.
this is the whole state of Texas.
Oh,
the
shit.
city of Los Angeles, that seems stupid. The whole state
Yeah,
of
that's
Texas.
very surprising.
But- How do you feel about this? Is it too early? Is it just right? Is it
Dumb
we
as
should have
shit.
been did this?
I don't honestly know when is the right time. To be honest with you, that's my answer.
How do you feel about this?
What's that shit we was just talking about last week and everything? The whole shit about natural selection and shit.
Hey, listen, y'all. I'm gonna make some really wild comments, y'all. I'm not even big enough to be canceled, so I don't care. Y'all can try it if you want to. But he's alluded to this, and I'm gonna say it later whenever you finish your statement. But get ready. If you're sensitive and you like PC culture and you want the government to run your family, you should probably stop listening right now. But go off.
No, I'm just saying like that truly is some like natural selection shit. Like y'all, we see what's going on, and they're pretty much taking money over your safety. Like, okay, cool, let's reopen up everything and stuff. We gotta like bring this money back in, have shit reflowing and stuff like that. But you're still putting everybody at fucking risk. And I understand it, but and I understand it, but I also don't. Because I understand about the whole economy shit and everything. You're trying to make sure everything like stays afloat and stuff. But at the same time, if you're doing this, you're putting more people at risk.
Is it
Now,
because everybody got vaccinated?
no, they're just reopening. And the issue is that it's the same thing that's going on with Atlanta and everything and stuff. And with with Florida, like the issue is now people are just traveling to these places because they know it's open and it's free. People tired of being at home and everything, but like, are you really willing to put yourself at risk? Like,
yes, people are. Yes,
and that's the issue. Like they truly are. They're willing to put themselves at risk. And I'm like, no. That's all. Listen, maybe I got a family, I got kids and shit like that. So maybe it's just me that I just be looking at it like I'm not willing to put my family, my kids and everything at risk for that.
yeah.
I can't. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm not gonna let my sons and everything fucking die from a sickness because I wanted to go be like stupid and everything. Go, I want to go party. I want to go out and I want to act like it's normal again and everything. So whatever the fuck that even means.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't agree with this shit at all.
That's normal.
But, since they already reopened, I wish y'all the best with your economy because it's what y'all wanted, so.
Like Ryan last year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like this.
But I ain't give my opinion. I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel. One, because I was never a big fan of the mask and all of that stuff. I understand safety, but at the same time, it's like stuff happens. People are their own people, so if they want to go out and be crazy without the mask, they can go out and be crazy. If you want to go out and get sick and get your grandma sick and she come home and die, that's on you. I don't feel bad because you made that choice. That's why I don't feel like it was ever. I'm not gonna say it was never necessary, but I feel like it could have been either way.
That's a mask I want.
That's tough.
That's
I'm a. Alright, so I guess my take and opinion on all this is that, well, let me make sure both of these drones is recorded before I start. Let's watch all the facial reactions. Alright, so
I'm in charge of this out of this shit, so y'all about to sit here and listen.
So I think there's a lot of different takes and sides and opinions on what 2019 into 2020 meant in terms of public safety, in terms of culture, in terms of government, in terms of policing, all that. So there's been a lot of things, but one thing I'll say that's been consistent, that's something that's been attacked, is the freedom of thought. There is definitely people hate the word agenda, but I don't care. Fuck it. I really don't care. There's an agenda. There's a plan. Whatever you want to say about it. There's an organization to attack the freedom of you being able to think certain things. We are being censored. Instagram, all your social media, which you shouldn't have been looking at them as more than, free advertisement spaces. That's what they're for. It's business. But regardless, all your social media is now super censored. Every time you post something on it, that even if you don't actually put in the caption that they say COVID, if they say COVID or something in the video, if I put this portion of the video up on Instagram right now,
COVID.
They're gonna put a thing up with the CDC fucking link.
Yo,
I can post just this snippet of the conversation, and that junk will pop up. I don't even need to put COVID. I can just say "nice to the awkward table" and the caption. It doesn't matter what I put in the caption. That shit gonna pop up. So regardless of, I say yeah, you should be as safe for your family as you can. I respect everyone's opinion in terms of like what they want to believe is going on right now. But I say it again, that you being able to think for yourself and at least look at everything that's going on and make a rational decision, that is being attacked right now. Regardless of what you believe in terms of, was this planned, where did it originate, who's responsible, who are the trusted leaders that we should be listening to. And I think that maybe, I can't speak for, what was the governor of Texas? I can't speak for him.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I can't speak for the governor of Texas or the leaders in Texas, but all I can say right now is that it seems like that is something, because the old adage, don't mess with Texas.
But didn't even the health commissioner even come out and say like, nah, you shouldn't do this?
That's
like,
possible.
And then they're like, no, we're gonna reopen. Like,
I mean,
Texas kind of like
Texas is his own country.
I was about to say,
Inside,
it's like his own country.
they're one of the few states that I would say if they wanted to try seceding again, it would be successful.
Yeah.
And the rest of America and the world would have to deal with it because they have a large enough landmass and economic resources that they could legitimately do it, and everyone would just have to. I'm gonna say all the money is moving to Texas. The stock market is moving over to Texas. It's not even in. It's leaving New York. So They and that might be part of the stand as well, because if for a significant amount of time in America at least, the centers of power have been Washington, and that's just honestly legislation. But the true centers of power have been New York and Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
They got you to worship all the people in Los Angeles. That's all your celebrities live, in Hollywood. And, New York is the center of quote-unquote bustling entrepreneurship, get it out the mud, bankers, Wall Street, all that. Regardless, that's changing. And a lot of things are changing in American society and even in the landmass.
Yep.
So, I think it's interesting and important that they're not necessarily just doing what everyone is saying to them from the CDC, because it's been... If you look over what the CDC statement have been for COVID, they've changed their mind on many different topics, many different times. And of course, you can say, okay, they come up with new information. Okay, cool. But this is still this is still the world premiere, quote unquote, standard of information regarding health and pathogens. And it's been clear they don't really know what's going on. So some of the things that are being suggested right now, in my opinion, and that's all I can go off of. I'm not saying to clear out here and say that I have any facts for people. But all I can say right now, in my opinion, your minds are being played with. More than anything else, the real pathogen is to see where your breaking point and what you will believe or won't believe, and how much you'll incorporate your beliefs into your daily routine.
Last time for World News, right, talking shit. It's a drought that I didn't... Well, I knew it was happening, but I didn't know it was as bad as it is.
A drought on what?
Like the western side of America.
Oh, okay.
Literally, like
Washington
the whole
to New Mexico's
the
been on fire
whole
for
western
3 years
side,
straight.
like literally from like Texas
No rain.
west. Like, well, a drought is considered no rain or very, very little.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times the rain that they get will be heavy downpours. And for the soil, you need like more consistent downpours for the soil to actually seep in. When there's heavy downpours, it kind of just sits on top and don't really do nothing for the soil. So imagine getting like 2 or 3 heavy downpours a year instead of constant rain.
Mm.
So I'm just give you some numbers and then we're going to talk about it. So apparently 80% of western states, 80% of the land of western states face some sort of drought. Now it's different levels. It's like mild drought, it's very extreme drought, severe drought. But 80% of all the land of western states are in some sort of drought right now. 1,400 counties with crops are in droughts. 168.8 million acres of crops and 15.8 million beef cattle experiencing drought. So nearly half of the U.S. continent is experiencing drought, and then 1/4 of that is an extreme drought. So like pretty much, if you add all the land together, a state a little bit bigger than the size of Texas is experiencing extreme drought. Now, right now, it's not something that we're going to feel or see in our supermarkets or in our pockets, but this continues. What do you think going to happen to us? Where we going to go with this? What we going to do?
Well, I think they finna continue with them fucking forest fires and shit.
Mm-hmm.
All them like mass fires that are going on and shit like that. And that's definitely finna continue and stuff.
But how do we combat this if it doesn't get better?
I honestly, it's fucking Mother Nature taking its course. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I think that's just it. Like Mother Nature's taking. I mean, what you want to go over there and everything spray shit down? Like,
No.
I mean, like we could do that and everything, but at the same time, if the heat just continues, it's just gonna dry all the way fuck back down. Yeah, I'm like
Yeah,
what
what do you want us to do?
Some people's idea.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do?
Like you
Some
remember
people's
when like the
For real?
whole thing
What the
about
fuck?
like now that all the ice is melting and shit like that and stuff, like you know, polar bears is dying and shit. They was like, oh, like what can we do? What can we do?
Right, I'm about
and
to
people
jump in here again. Keep going.
people are like, yo, let's drop some big ass fucking ice cubes in the fucking ocean.
Some people
like
said that.
this was their idea,
Next
bro.
to glaciers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, let's
The original
drop
ice
big
cube.
ice cubes.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, so. Like, this is not like a fucking cup of water, bro.
Yeah, like what? Let's just drop some.
Like, just understand
How
that
are you gonna make an ice cube that big for it to make a difference? Come on.
Like, listen,
explain
like,
it.
but like,
Come on,
listen,
scientists.
Mother Nature's gonna take its fucking course and everything.
Yeah.
That shit just gonna go. Because my thing is, no matter what you do, trust me, nature's gonna win in the fucking end.
Yes, it is.
So whatever the fuck it chooses it wants to do, that's what's gonna happen. Now, granted, we can try and take what's it called?
Precautionary.
Yeah, precautionary like measures and everything. So we can do that, but at the same time, the best thing you can fucking do, yo, listen, if you live too close to where this shit's at, get the fuck out. If you're able to afford it, some people honestly aren't, and I do feel for that and everything and stuff like that. But you know, like I said, like listen, if you
get the fuck out, so we leave in America.
No, not. I'm talking about get the fuck out of there where that shit's taking place and everything.
Well,
but
all
the thing is, my bad to cut you off. I'm gonna say 2 seconds, then you go ahead. But the thing is, like, we're not feeling it now, but eventually, because of the lack of crops, the lack of meat, like to produce meat costs so much fucking water. Incredibly expensive, and then it costs so much water because you gotta feed the animal,
fucking 3
and
weeks,
you gotta give the animal water,
3 weeks,
and then so much other shit. So I don't know, 3 weeks. I just thought of it. Just kidding.
I was kind of thinking about that too.
But no, but like seriously, like I don't know, cause it's right now we're not feeling it, but it's going to change. I think it's definitely going to change our way of life. The way the foods that we eat, what's normal, that shit is going to change very soon.
It definitely is, but my thing, I think that's why I'm saying like you said, like like you said, precautionary like measures. Yeah. Like do what you can now, because the truth is, at the end of the day, we don't know how long this is going to last, and at the same time, like even if we do, like let's say like you know like when they do the forest fires and they drop like the shit. Also, like let's say we just fill this shit up with a bunch of fucking water in there and just start like dropping water like fucking everywhere. Just at least trying like at least you know just like get water everywhere just to make everything wet and ice and stuff like that. How long does this last though? Like, does that even truly really help?
How much fuel did you have to dig up to do that? Because choppers don't run off of air.
Yeah, then that's what I'm saying. Like yo, like no matter what you do, it's gonna cost money to do it and everything. So it's either
what was the economic impact of flying that many choppers over that area?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it really gets to the point of like truly what do you do? And I do feel because like this is also like affecting like you know some people's businesses and everything. And like you said, like it's gonna be like you know a slow burn and everything.
Slow burn.
And like we are like I feel like it's gonna be the same shit like with the COVID thing. We are not gonna truly understand, or at least
it's too late.
Yeah, and not even just I guess like the whole like COVID financial relief shit. We're not gonna really understand how this actually affects us until some years down the line. Like it's like we're gonna see that basically like hey listen like no matter what happens
on that one.
Yeah.
I could, but I ain't gonna keep it.
No.
Oh, the last thing I'm gonna say, get your garden. That's the last thing I'm gonna say.
Get your what?
Your garden. You get your garden.
Yeah.
Towards your
Oh,
garden.
your garden.
Gardening.
Here, I'm gonna jump in here. I think it's very arrogant for humans to think that anything that they could do, whether it's you know CFCs to nukes, are going to actually damage the earth enough to really cause a problem. This thing was here before us. We are a product of the earth. We did not create the earth. I think it's arrogant for us to think that we're going to actually destroy it. I think we're more likely to kill ourselves off, or Mother Nature will kill us off before we actually have a chance of truly doing damage to this. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be a good steward of the planet that you live on. I'm all advocates for that. I think we need to be much kinder to nature and you know do what we can to be more holistic focused and remember that we are living in an ecosystem and it's not just human society on top of you know the rest of actual nature. You know, talking about things like deforestation and everything like that. But I do think it's very arrogant to think that we can affect something like climate change to the point of people coming up with extreme thoughts like, you know, and think whatever you want to think, but I think it's silly that you're going to bring an ice cube to where glaciers are melting, the world's ice cube, and think that you're going to drop another ice cube, a smaller man-made ice cube there that hasn't been chilling there for thousands of years, and that somehow that's gonna
It's gonna help.
help the
Not
situation. And who's to say that, you know, I think it's kind of a thing of us being arrogant and thinking we know all of the time, past, present, and future, that who's to say stuff isn't supposed to heat up and the biome and the landscape isn't supposed to change. I mean, if you look at some stuff, they say everything was one landmass, and now we have 7 continents. So, you know, if you believe in tectonic plate shifting, then you know that eventually California and the rest of the western coast is going to slide off into the Pacific Ocean. So, you know, if you're either going to adapt, that's what the rule of nature is. You're either going to adapt and keep on moving, or you're going to get eaten up. You know, I'm not, you know, if you have businesses out there and everything like that, I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow, you know, everything like that, you know, and I definitely think that we should be creative in trying to find applicable solutions to the industries that we have within reason, because I think that's a lot of part of maybe what the problem is we're not using moderation for some of this stuff, and we've created unsustainable industries, you know, like we were talking about earlier. The agricultural industry, and especially like the beef industry, is ridiculously expensive. Beef and pork industries, and they're very, very toxic industries to the surrounding neighborhoods. And if you look at like documentaries on Netflix, Food Incorporated, they talk about how, you know, and I didn't really know this was a thing, but agricultural racism, and that a lot of these, especially like the pig farms, are placed near poor black communities in the South, and they spray the fecal matter from these animals into fields right next to the communities, and people are they just have collective asthma and different like infections and all types of health conditions from breathing in shit nonstop. So, you know, there's definitely more that we could do, you know, if we're going to talk about a whole culture in terms of improving our relationship with nature and everything like that. But I think the first thing in that is remembering we're not the biggest, baddest thing out here, and if need be, nature will come take care of us too. So, you know, just some perspective for the people out there. I'm done.
And
Commentator of the times.
Yes, sir.
No, but like that right there is actually a thing that like I think people do need to touch on, the fact that like as humans, I guess in general, like we do have like pretty much a god complex, and that's not saying like as us as individuals and everything, but it's like we do feel as though like yeah, no, we can fix this and everything. This is fine. We got this. We this is perfectly fine. Everything, you know, we're gonna figure it. And like I think it gets to a point where it's like, all right, listen, we just need to be realistic. Like you said, who's to say that this isn't just naturally supposed to happen and everything? The fucking ice age happened, shit fucking froze over, and then it fucking ended. Like, nature's going to take its fucking course, and the more we try to fight it, the more fucking, I guess you could say, violent nature itself is gonna become, because it's going to happen. Like, no matter what you do, and it will. Like, Mother Nature, she ain't playing around. She's not fucking playing around and everything. But, you know, I do feel for the people who do live there and everything. And, you know, if there is a place that is suitable for you to actually move your business and everything, I am not a business advisor and everything, but, you know, I would advise for, I guess you could say, for your safety, for both yourself, you know, and, you know, for the longevity of your business. If you are able to financially take that hit, see if you can actually move away from where you are. Unless you're a big corporation and you don't fucking merge the ground. But yeah. Anything else?
That's it. That's all I got.